And it's good that we can become together as one, and that we can join each other in this celebration of this amazing weekend in the Celtic Druidic circles, where we celebrate their spirituality with the Feast of Imbolc, the celebration of the fire. And Bridget is very much a part of that. And many of the indigenous peoples of the world had their own sacred celebrations for this weekend. But tonight, I just want to come and share with you a very special companion who sits with me here watching me every time I go live. It was a gift given to me by some of our students some years ago, for helping them through a bad time, and it's my angel on duty. I haven't yet found a name for it, but I'm sure the name will be forthcoming. But I'm very fond of my little teddy bear, because she's a good little companion. And she's a great little mascot. And I place her here just in front of the webcam, so when I'm feeling tired and weary and vulnerable, I just look at that little bear, and it reminds me of a group of very special friends who were clients and students who did the course in Ascenic Energy Medicine, about 5 years ago. And they were not in a good place. Mentally, physically, emotionally and spiritually, but over a period of 3 months. And to show their appreciation, they clubbed together and got me this beautiful little bear. So people pay me often in kindness, and often that is the most memorable. So let us celebrate this special evening by first lighting our sacred flame. And our sacred flame means a lot to my heart, because it's a symbol, like the fire, like the little teddy bear angel on duty. It's a symbol of love. So we light the flame for Imbolc, the tradition of our brother and sister Druids to this day, where they celebrated. And we hold this flame, and we offer this flame in benediction, recognizing and respecting the sacred traditions of the indigenous peoples, and also of our brother and sister Celts. So deep peace, pure white of the moon to you, deep peace, pure green of the grass to you. Deep peace, pure brown of the earth to you. Deep peace, pure grey of the dew to you. Deep peace, pure blue of the sky to you. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the Son of Peace to you. And we shall place our candle beside our little angel on duty. And now I would like to use the symbol of tone to summon the ancient spirits of love, of peace, and of joy. Let us relax now. Let us relax into the arms of the wise spirits of love, as they invite us to allow our spirit fly upwards and heavenwards to be in the company of the divine. Let us call on our ancestors who served the Supreme and Gaia well, for they gave their lives to honouring their traditions, which many have been handed down to this present day. The Aboriginal tribes, the Maori tribes, the Celts, the Druids, and this evening we were so blessed to hear about the Native American Cherokee tribe that Sister Eleanor is associated with. It is so important that we know of our ancestors. It's so important that we understand their ritual, their teachings, for they were wise ones, like the Essenes of the Red Sea, the Essenes of Alexandria and Mount Sinai, the Mayans, the ancient Egyptians, the Romans and the Greeks. The world has so much treasure, but it would seem that it's been lost because of an obsession with mobile phones, the BlackBerry. Important as they are, but they seem to have killed the art of face-to-face communication and storytelling and sharing the mystery. Let us bless those mysteries, and let us never forget our ancestors. And as we come to this table of love, we open our hearts to love. We open our hearts to the mystical experience that each child of God has when they surrender their heart, their ego, their identity, their presence, their gift. For we are all one, for we are all from the same source. So let us go beyond self, and let us find our sacred lineage, our roots, that which gives us a sense of belonging in a crazy world. Beautiful that it may be, but it has lost its purpose and its identity. And many light bringers of peace like ourselves, many of us are being crushed by other people's agenda because they're afraid of us. They want what we have, but they're not willing to pay the price, the discipline, the prayer, and the surrendering of your ego and your heart to love. Oh, let us celebrate this glorious weekend, the festival of Imbolc, the sacred fire between the winter and the spring equinox, when light becomes stronger and it warms the earth. It warms the earth and gives a signal to all of creation that it is safe to start bearing shoots, and for you and me to come out of hibernation and to dance with Brother Sun and Sister Moon and celebrate your gift of life. Just close your eyes and call on your ancestors, and you'll discover we all come from the same source. Through a millennia of time, we are all related. And if that is true, which I believe it to be true, then isn't it discouraging to see how we treat one another? How we annihilate one another? For what? What a price to pay for fame, for greed, for power, for control. The words of this song I'm playing to you, it's titled Fly Away by A.E. Houseman. So let us fly away. Let us fly away and let us come together as one. And let us embrace the Supreme, the one source. Just relax. Relax. And just allow the stressors that may have annoyed you this day be released from you. Allow them be washed away by the flame of eternal love. Allow your ancestors, our ancestors, care for us now and bring to us the wisdom that we have lost. Be still. Be still. And in that stillness, I would like us to reflect on a passage from the Interior Castle. It's a blueprint for spiritual living. It's an exceptional term of reference. And I'm guided to share with you for this soiree something of interest to you and me. And it's called Surrendering Your Senses into Healing. Into healing. And this is what the great mystic Teresa of Avila has to say. Ultimately, the divine determines whether we recover from an illness. A genuine healing is a mystical experience, not a rational one, and requires a soul animated by faith. Without it, a complete healing is not likely to occur. Yet even with faith, you must surrender into the process of healing. That is, you must place your complete faith in the treatment in which your healing will be accomplished. That is not something that many do today, because they disregard the respect and the wisdom of those who have studied, who have practiced their profession. And I've met many who prefer to go their own way and play mind games and disregard the integrity of the spiritual practice. It is my belief that conventional medicine and alternative therapy must work together, hand in hand. Medicine cannot work on its own, nor can alternative therapy. The two are adjunct therapies. They work together, and they work effectively together, for they were created by God. An ill person wants to recover as quickly as possible, of course, but often you cannot see at what level the process of healing is unfolding. By surrendering your senses, you investigate your understanding of how you expect healing to work between you and God. And Teresa advises us to look at this called soul work. Reflect on how you see your healing processes at work. What arises each time life presents you with something that requires healing? Where do you feed doubt into your healing? How do you torment yourself with impatience? With this practice of self-reflection, you can test when you choose to perceive through mystical consciousness rather than ordinary thought. Think of some things in your life that need healing. I can think of a dozen, can you? I know I can. Include on this list at least one negative attitude that doesn't serve you, or one addiction, or someone you need to forgive, as well as any pain or illness. There is no such thing as a shortage of things to heal. How true. Choose one thing on which to focus a healing practice that includes prayer and whatever else is required. For the next 14 days, return to this room to reflect upon the influence your healing practice is having on you as a person. Among the points to note in your evaluation is whether you can maintain a 14-day healing practice. You are looking for results in the healing challenge itself, but you are also looking to see how your life as a whole is being affected by your healing practice. Appreciating that a healing practice influences your entire life engages the mystical nature of healing. A medical approach targets only the illness. What profound words, and what a challenge for the soul. We give thanks for Teresa's wisdom. So let us come to this place where we surrender our senses to the healing process. Let us come before the presence of the one who is the physician of our soul. And that physician has much to tell us. That physician has been knocking on the door of my heart for many years, but regrettably in stubbornness. And I repent of that, but also more challenging, my spiritual arrogance. But that came to a Third World War crisis in the summer of 2007, when I temporarily became paralyzed through a rather nasty infection I contracted working in Egypt that damaged my spine and left me without power, where I had to become the independent one, self-sufficient, the nurse. Oh yes, bring it on, brother. And I had to become beholden to others, to wash me, to dress me, and to do the shopping for me. And I resented it. Oh, did I fight tooth and nail with God? But He used that blip to bring me to my senses. And instead of demanding of God that He grants me healing on my understanding, my way, my selfish way, I was empowered through that process, through weakness, through exhaustion, to surrender. And the moment I surrendered, it took 5.5 months of daily struggle and fighting God that I realized I was the culprit. I blocked my healing through my insistence on wanting my own way. I was a difficult child. I was a troubled child. And I guess I was selfish. I told people I loved them, but I didn't love myself. I never felt worthy, good enough. I guess that came with the territory of having been a monk and a nurse for so many years, because we weren't allowed to connect with our self-worth. But then I seen the light of day, and what I feared the most was my reality, put there by me, where I thought my God wanted me to go back into the church and to go back into an enclosed monastery and live a miserable existence that took me 12 years in therapy to overcome from the ordeal I had after 8 years of loving service. But I convinced myself that was God's will for me. And hey presto, it took a paralysis of both legs for me to get on my knees and fall down on my face and surrender my heart. And then I could walk again. And the message was simple. I never asked you to return to a loveless environment, but I never let you go either. Live the life, honor your heart, and serve me from where you are right now, your home, your monastery without walls. And it all came together, and I realized that I blocked my healing through my pretentiousness, my arrogance, my stupidity. I shared this not for your pity. I don't need your pity. I share it with you in love. And if there's anything there in that story that resonates with your journey, then God's will has been done and His name being glorified. But we each have a choice to work within the healing process, which is God's will for us, to embrace the dark side, to embrace the turmoil. But in that turmoil we trust, not in ourselves, but in the physician of our soul who loves us. But if we take the self out of the process and bring in the divine and honor the divine's will, then the healing begins. I've seen it here with clients. When you bring in the Christ energy, they're healed instantly because they surrendered. And those who weren't were the ones who blocked it by being clever. So let us come to this table and let us ask the spirit of our ancestors. Let us ask the wise ones who know much better than me or you. Let us call on the spirits of the four winds. Let us listen to our heart, and therein we will find our truth. So now let us be still, and let us hear the voice of a loving Father, Mother God, and let us see the Christ. Let's not imagine it, for he is here. Let us see him, and let us feel his touch on our heart. And now let us feel his touch on our overactive mind that would rather destroy what God has given than embrace the fruits of his love. And in this process, let us now give ourselves permission to receive the healing touch of a loving God. Feel the love flowing from his hands into your mind, into every membrane, tissue and cell, through the pituitary gland in your brain, and feel that current of love flow down, cleansing your third eye, allowing you see your God. And let that love clear your throat so that you speak your truth, that you honor your truth, that you become your truth. And then feel it flow into your heart. Feel it. It is real. Sense it. And now allow the physician of our soul, your soul, the gateway to God, release you from nonsense, to release your heart from being the victim to the survivor. We've all been victims, but we're survivors. We're survivors of light for light, because we are now being filled with the light of selfless love. And the first part of the healing process tonight is that we can say to ourselves, I love me. I love my God within me. I accept myself for who I am. For I was created by God, and in the eyes of God, I was created whole, perfect, and complete. Be still now. Stay in that presence, and just know He's with you. That the physician of your soul is now within you. He's all around you. And allow the healing process begin. To begin with the word we, the Christ and I are one. And release your fear, your arrogance, your unforgiveness, selfishness, self-pity, doubt, procrastination, stupidity. Oh, just bless them and release them to a loving God. and all will be well. And I guess if you're looking for proof, all you have to do is look at me, and you can see that from brokenness, God created something whole. But it has to be worked on every day through self-surrender of what I think I want, what I think I need, to what God wants for me. It's about discerning the mind of God, and it's about honoring that gift of discernment, and it's about embracing that truth. And that truth becomes a living prayer. And by living that truth, you become the eternal prayer. A prayer for peace and reconciliation of your heart before God. Be still now. Sit quietly and allow the love transform your brokenness into wholeness. And nothing is impossible for God, but everything is impossible for man. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for allowing me into your heart. And thank you for your presence. And I look forward to your company again. Same time, same place. We conclude now with the blessing of peace for all God's children who are wounded, who are hurting, and who are stuck in old ways. Father, Mother, God Supreme, you are love. And in your name, the name of love, we ask your blessing on all our brothers and sisters from all faiths and none who are hurting at this time, that you will set them free and that they will embrace you with clarity, where there's no fear, and where the word surrender is not a negative, but it is a key to a new beginning, a new journey. Take care. God bless you all.